episode 2 for the podcast.
Welcome everybody, another episode of Beer Fish Fanatics. As Fishing Kith said, episode 2 of us being live fishing.
From the lake.
So
I mean, we're not really live now, but
I'm hoping you guys understand what we're trying to say. But now we officially have mini poles.
5.
So Fishing Kith's got 3, I got 2. So hopefully the numbers go in our favor that we will catch a catfish. Hopefully.
We had a couple bites already.
Yep, sure did. On you guys probably saw in the previous episode, I had a cutout or whatever the case was. I actually got a bite. However, the pole is still has not caught a pole or caught a fish yet. So still working on that. All right, this week we're doing Iowa Brewing Company. I think Fishing Kith said we had this previously, and it might have been with one of our guests, I think Spencer, possibly. But it's the Surf Zombies IPA.
I thought we did.
Either him or Danny. It might have been one of the two. But obviously I liked it because I bought it again today, guys. So we're gonna crack this one and see how it tastes. Again, obviously it can't taste bad. I would hope not.
IPA made with Iowa hops.
Iowa hop. It's a pale. IPA is Indian Pale Ale. That's what IPA stands for.
So why India?
Indian or India.
Yeah, why India?
You know what? Of all things I should know, I don't have an idea on that one. I'll be the first to tell you guys, as much beer and I was brewing and beer I drink, I just know it's just IPA, stands for Indian Pale Ale. I have no idea why it's from India. So if anybody can comment or respond, I actually would like to know because I have no idea why they call it Indian Pale Ale.
I think I have an idea. Something to do with like the old shipping routes, like the shipping boats or whatever. Like they would go to India to go get spices and whatnot, and they would have like beer, like barrels, since it's a farther trip because they're going to India or whatever. So that beer is brewing longer because they're going to India.
Did you look this up or something?
Not like recently, but I think that's why it's called a pale ale, or India Pale Ale.
We're gonna have to look that up. That's interesting. If that's the case,
I think that's why it's called an India Pale Ale.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Because they're on like those shipping boats with like Indian spices and whatnot. And since it's a farther distance or something, so that beer is brewing longer. That's why it has a more bitter taste or whatever.
Really? I thought when you brew IPAs, I don't know. I did a podcast episode of my other thing, but the guy told me IPAs are faster.
Faster?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe then I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. We're gonna find out. I'll that's one of those things where I'm gonna have to Google and find out, or you guys will probably fact check us anyways on that. So, but anyways, so everybody knows, is it hoppy? Yes. It is hoppy, but it's damn good. So if you're in central Iowa or if you're in Iowa period, check out any of the local grocery stores. Iowa Brewing Company, good beer. Surf Zombies. Obviously, I think because this is our second time having it, so it's pretty damn good. So this week we're still fishing for catfish. I actually wanted to pick Kith's brain a little bit because I know he's been I've seen his videos that he's been posting up a lot lately. You guys may be wondering where he's been. It was not in Iowa. He's actually been kayak fishing out of state here. Mr. Traveler, World Traveler Fishing Kith.
Says the guy that just came back from Denver 2 days ago.
No worries, but that was a family trip. But to see his last couple videos, it was pretty cool to see him catch these blue catfish. So we don't have, I don't know, I've never seen any or never caught any in Iowa. So those look pretty darn unique, number one, and they look like a bunch of fighters, man. Tell me a little bit, how was it catching a blue catfish off the kayak, man?
Just about the same as catching any other catfish on the kayak. You know, it's a blast. I love doing it. It's my favorite way of targeting catfish. Like he was saying, we don't really have blue catfish in Iowa's interior bodies of water. So if you're on the Des Moines River like 20 minutes from Des Moines, you catch a dark colored channel catfish, it is not a blue catfish. I mean, you'll hear it. You'll hear people say, "Oh yeah, I caught a blue," but it's just a channel cat with like darker colors, especially like during the spawn and stuff. The males get like a darker color, and a lot of people mistaken them for blues. Is it impossible that a blue catfish is swimming around in the Des Moines River? Not impossible, but it's unlikely. I mean, you go up on the DNR website, it'll tell you like what the range is, and they're found mostly on the bordering waters like Missouri, Mississippi River. So as far as Iowa blue catfish go, those are your areas that you would catch them. And the DNR is trying to establish them in lakes inside Iowa, but they're not really. I don't know if they're taking off or not, but they're not really established yet. Like they just started a few years ago with the stocking program. But I guess they stocked blue catfish in Big Creek in like the 70s or 80s, but there hasn't been one documented fish that was caught. But they're all gone though. They haven't sampled any. And one was never documented of being caught.
Is it the weather, do you think, or is it just?
I think we're just like at the northern border of their range.
By the way, everybody, you probably saw the last couple episodes. I said, God, I gotta get a kayak again. So I got another kayak. I officially bought another kayak, and I have once again jumped into the kayak fishing scene. So I don't know, we're gonna ever record an episode on a kayak. That could be an interesting day. We'll see. That'd be interesting.
That'll be hard.
Well,
a podcast on the kayak.
We could, because what we could do is, if you guys want to see that, let us know. We'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Excuse me.
But I think, anyways, I did get a kayak, and I am super excited. I actually caught a couple fish off of it. It was not the biggest fish. It was a couple crappies and white bass. But you know what? If you've never been kayak fishing, I still highly recommend it, because even a 9-inch crappie, an 8-inch white bass, it actually literally pulls you for a little bit. So it's actually pretty darn exciting. So I highly recommend kayak fishing if you guys get a chance on that.
Yeah, kayak fishing is the best.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, like you were saying before, it's a type of fishing, right? What were you saying before?
What did I?
It's a
discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. Fancy words.
Fancy word. Yep. It's a discipline of fishing. It's. I agree with Kit. It's not easier. No. If everybody thinks that, you know, hey, you're on the water, it's going to be easier. I don't think it's easier. I think actually could even be a little more difficult sometimes.
Well, you gotta, load all your stuff. Thought I saw your pole move, but
maybe
that one.
Did it move? Oh,
yeah, it
sure did move, guys.
It is.
Might have a chance here.
Wait! Don't get too excited now.
Got a little excited. Hold on. We'll see. Nope, nothing. Man, another false alarm, everybody. So, once again, got another bite and no fish to show for it.
This guy lost 2 shads and got 0 fish to show for it.
I don't think, is there any flatheads in here, man?
There is. Trying to target flatheads in Iowa's reservoirs is really tough. I think it's just because, there's so much water to cover, and flatheads aren't like a numerous species. You'll catch them here and there.
Sorry guys, didn't mean to interrupt myself and Kit here. But when you get a fish biting on your pole, sorry, you gotta just go and get it, right? So, what were we talking about? Kayak fishing?
Kayak fishing.
How exciting it is to catch a 9-inch bluegill, or not bluegill, but a crappie, white bass. But if you watch this guy's channel, he catches some nice catfish. So let me ask you, man. So when you're catching those catfish, those large ones, I get a little, when I'm on a kayak, I get a little, frazzled. Because you got to bring up the catfish onto the kayak, which is, some people, when you ever been on a kayak, kind of feels unstable sometimes. If you've never been on a kayak, you'll know what I'm talking about when you get on one. But how do you lift it up? Is there a specific technique you guys usually do? I've seen Spencer, I've seen Danny, you guys use those grips and everything. But I mean, is there a specific technique? Do you use a net? What do you use the best to land a big catfish on a kayak?
Well, hard for me to say about the big catfish part because I never caught a big catfish on the kayak yet. And you know, when I'm talking about big catfish, I'm talking about like 20, 30 pounder. Like 10, 15 pounder, you just reach over. If you have grips is the easiest way to handle them because they're thrashing around. You know, just grab them with the grips, pick them up, easy, get it over with. Or you just put your hand in their mouth. They're gonna chew up your knuckles.
Those grips, I see you guys use that all the time. Makes a difference.
Yeah, it just helps you control the fish, and that's the hard part in the kayak. Because you don't have that much control of anything really. The wind's blowing you. Like when you're wrangling that fish, if it's windy, that wind's gonna take you. If it's blowing up against the bank, that wind's gonna push you up on the bank. So you wanna secure that fish as soon as you can. So you just either, you know, bring it up to your boat, unhook it, throw it back, throw it in your cooler or a stringer or whatever.
If you guys haven't seen though, because I have a just a regular paddle kayak. I have actually his old model kayak he used to have before, the Wilderness, is it Tarpon?
Yep, Tarpon 100.
And now Fishing Kith, if you guys seen his channel, he has a Hobie and it's a foot pedal. Can tell me the difference, man, because obviously I've never had a foot pedal. You have a foot pedal, you've had the one where you paddle. What's the pros and cons of either one? Because I know if anybody we're talking to that's getting into kayak fishing, they're gonna look at the price tag and they can see the biggest difference, obviously.
Yes.
But does the cost justify it? What do you think? Well, what's the biggest difference between the foot pedal and the regular paddle kayak?
Being hands-free is the biggest difference. So, I mean, you fish with your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you free up your hands from paddling and whatnot, that's the big thing, or that's the biggest appeal about going from a paddling kayak to a pedaling kayak. I mean, if you're gonna be like trolling or whatever and boat control and whatnot, having your hands free and just using your feet to control the boat is the big draw of a pedaling kayak. But like Denny, he uses his arms. If you're drifting or if you're just gonna tie up to like some brush on a creek and have your rod straight down, you're not really paddling, so you won't have to worry about being hands-free or not while you're fighting a fish.
So it really depends on what you're targeting.
Depends on your application.
Yeah, like, because in your case, if you're at a pond or a lake that you're just kind of going all the way around and fishing, I guess the foot pedal makes sense.
Yeah, and like as far as like, I don't know about you, but my legs can carry me a lot farther than my arms.
Paddling, I guess it's easier.
It is
when you're I guess you say paddling, and if you just kind of, it's like a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the paddle? I've never had a foot kayak. I mean, how hard are you actually like pedaling?
Not hard at all.
And it goes pretty fast?
Yeah, I mean, you could cruise at like 3 miles per hour. You're not really exerting that much energy.
For real? Yeah. 3 miles per hour on the freaking, that's pretty quick, actually.
You can paddle, but it's harder on me. You know, I got little arms. I also got chicken legs.
But does it justify the price? Because the reason I ask is because if anybody's looking to get into kayak fishing, I mean, it doesn't cost like a brand new boat, FYI. And that's why we talk about kayak fishing a lot, is because it never breaks down no matter how much the kayak costs, because there's no engine, because you are the engine. We mentioned that before in previous episodes. But I mean, it's hard to, I guess you could say, justify a kayak that's 3 to 4 times more than what a good kayak would be, because it's, I guess you say, it's a pedal. But do you feel that it justifies it price-wise? Do you think it's...
Depends how much you use it. If you buy a $2,500 kayak and use it twice a year, I would say no. Even if you're a weekend warrior, you take it out every weekend during, like, let's say from May to September. I think it's worth it. And there's so many brands out there. And speaking of Hobie, their patent for their drive system expired like 2 years ago. So you basically get a knockoff Hobie for like half. I wouldn't say half the price. Yeah, actually now it would be half the price. But the thing is with the new Hobies is they've done a lot of things to their drives that they've got patents on, like the reverse and 360, the kick up. Basically, their drives can go backwards, all sorts of directions and stuff. And while the other, like with their old patent, you could just go forward, I think. Granted, the pricing doesn't reflect one-to-one, because like I think the Lightning something kayak, it's got like a style of their old drive, and it's under like $2,000. I want to say it's like $1,700. I don't know the price off the top of my head. But like Hobie's new stuff, a new Outback with the 180 drive is like $2,700.
But you know what? Just so everybody knows, I recommend anybody who's looking to get into to be on top of the water versus shore fishing, give kayak fishing a shot. The reason being because it's going to be way less maintenance, way less headaches. And technically, you can put a kayak on almost any vehicle. When I say that, you can put it on top of your roof. Even if you have a small, sedan or whatnot, they have racks and you can put on. Versus if you get a boat, it's just a lot of headaches. I see, and I hear a lot of people in regards to maintenance, in regards to people who wants to go fishing. They're like, I just don't want to take my boat out because to me they say it's just a hassle, but if you get a kayak, you just throw it on and you're good to go. Because most of these kayaks, just so everybody knows, the kayaks, they're not that heavy. Except for yours is kind of heavier, but it's still...
For a kayak, it's heavy.
Yeah, but it's still not into like the 200-300 pound range. No. You're talking about one person can maneuver these kayaks easily most of the time. My kayak, just so everybody knows, literally weighs less than, I think, 60 pounds.
I want to say it's like 60.
Yeah. So, and it gets me on the water, and I've used it several times now. It's great stability. It has amazing speed, way better than my box one I bought. So this is the thing too. If you watch the previous episode that we had with Denny and Spencer, they recommended, don't go cheap when you go to the kayak. Get something, try it out. And I highly recommend that, because the kayak that I just purchased recently, it literally blew out that box cheapo that I bought previously out the window, because the number one, stability was amazing on it, and then two, it's so fast, and then I just had more room, I feel like, too, than my other kayak.
There was a sit on top too, your old one.
Yeah, it was, but like I said, I went to a cheapo store because I was like, I'm just gonna buy a kayak and go fish, and I was like, it's the cheapest one I could buy, right? So I went to go buy it. Yes, it got me on the water, but it didn't do, like, I think one of the previous episodes we were talking to Danny, he's like, after 2 hours, do you still want to fish on my old kayak? No. I like, my back hurts, I just want to get off this thing. But my new kayak now, it's like, you know what?
Oh, she got a catfish over there.
Holy cow.
That's what we're trying to catch.
We're trying to catch catfish, so our neighbor right here caught a nice little catfish off a worm, right?
Worms.
There you go. But as I was saying, and I don't go cheap on the kayak. Also go and try it out if you can. I think that was the one mistake I kind of did when I initially got into it. But now I'm very happy with the one I have. Will I ever get a foot pedal? I don't know. Maybe on down the road, we'll see. My kids want me to get a tandem kayak now because they see it. So we'll see, because those suckers get expensive too. But at the end of the day, we really, not emphasizing kayak fishing, but I think you guys should, anybody who fishes should give it a shot, because I think it's fun. And number one, it's very peaceful.
It is.
I don't know if anybody has ever been, if you've ever been fishing, you know what peaceful is, right? When you're alone fishing, you just got peace of mind. Imagine you on top of the water and just floating with the water, it's peace at mind. And I think
just kayaking, even if you're not catching fish, is a positive in itself. But like, I think I'll just touch back on what Denny said before. Like, instead of going out there and trying to buy the cheapest kayak you can, I mean, sure, you know, everyone's got different finances or whatever, but if you can't just wait and save up, especially if you're going to be fishing from the kayak, you know, just save up like $200 more for that specialized fishing kayak. You know, it's going to be engineered for that purpose. And then I think the main thing is the seating. That's part of the pricing that comes with kayak. The more expensive kayaks is they'll come with a better seat. You know, you go out and buy the cheapest kayak possible, you got like this little thin foam padding for your seat and like a thin foam for your backing, and you're not going to be comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, you're not going to want to be on the water.
Yeah, you can be like me and buy the cheapest one. There was no padding, no nothing. I sat on plastic and it was just low, and literally 30 minutes later I just wanted to get off.
Yeah, and then, you know, once you figure out that this is something you really like and you want to be on the water more, you're going to upgrade. But then in the long run, you'll be spending more money because you're buying a cheap kayak plus a not as expensive kayak versus when you could have just bought a nicer kayak for that total price from the get-go.
But like Kit said, it's only like $100, $200, but it's a world of difference.
The way Denny put it is like $200 might be the difference between fishing for 3 or 4 hours versus fishing all day.
And he's right. It really it makes a difference. And if you calculate the cost and everything at the end of the day, consider your equipment you already paid up to get to that point. Fishing wise, I mean, what's another $100, $200 in a sense to get something that's going to make you completely happy and comfortable? Oh my gosh. So wish you guys could see, we have tons of shad jumping, and we're using shad as lure, and we have no bites. Bait, and we have no bites. So hope
you had bites.
Oh, I had a couple bites. Yeah,
you had 2 bites, I had 1 bite.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep this out. We may do another episode here. Since I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon because we haven't caught jack.
We can't leave till we catch a fish.
Yeah, that's the.
How about that? So
that's the
your
goal.
wife can yell at the fish, not you.
Wow.
If they don't want to bite.
So if she ever watches this, which she never does. Oh, by the way, the last couple episodes we did with Denny, Spencer has 1 week left, FYI. Once I post one of these episodes, I think Spencer has 1 week left to say, hey, I watched that episode. If he doesn't, he's going to owe us 2 and Denny a round. That was still on the video. So you guys, you know what, whoever's watching this, if you guys want to even give him a heads up, hey, you may want to watch one of these episodes here and there, you guys can go ahead and give him a little heads up because he's got about a week left. So.
There's got to be one river rat out there that's watching this.
Yep, one river rats. But all right, guys, so until next time, I think we might do another episode here. Hopefully we catch a fish, so we'll show you guys. I've been really wanting to try, and this might be one of my only ones I do on the channel that I'm actually fishing, or I might just do like episodes with Kit here when we fish here once in a while. But like I said, until next time, hopefully you guys bring us good luck. According to this guy, we can't go anywhere until we catch a fish.